Villainous by its_Kingston on AO3. Episode 34, Chapter 20. Closer. So, Toga said as she walked beside Ochako. So, what were you thinking about earlier, when I told you you were a bad liar? The blonde asked curiously. They entered the furniture store and began looking around. Nothing in particular, she replied. She saw the design labeled dressered and stands, and went to search that area. Nothing in particular doesn't need to be lied about, Toga said in a knowing tone. If you don't tell me, I gotta assume it's something traitorous. Within a second, Ochako felt a hand on her shoulder and a knife at her throat. You and I both know it's not. And you just really want to know, Ochako said. Maybe it was an issue that had become desensitized to threats so quickly, but she had a feeling that Toga didn't actually think that. Then go ahead and tell me. We're supposed to be cautious around potential traitors? Toga said, pressing the knife closer. Do you really think that I'd betray you? Ochako was curious, actually. She wasn't willing to die before admitting that the blonde was cute, but she wanted to see what Toga thought about the hero's standing first. No, not really. Her grip didn't loosen on the knife. But I've been proved wrong before. And I could have kept it from you longer, but I told you. That counts for something. Ochako narrowed her eyes. Your life was at risk when you told me the first time. You could be keeping something here again. Are you in contact with UA? Seeing any heroes behind our backs? Toga asked rapidly. Her grip on Ochako's shoulder tightened, and the knife was pressed closer enough to draw blood with the smallest movement. Okay, calm down, Ochako said, pulling her hand on Toga's. No, I haven't talked to anyone from UA since before we stole from the museum. I was just watching you look at the case because you looked really happy and it was cute. You said it yourself. Not a good liar, so you can put that away now. Fine. Toga slid her knife back into her pocket, and although she tried to keep a threatening glare on her face, she was softly smiling. Let's find for whatever we came here for. Your mood changed quickly, she murmured. Dresser, stand, mainly a bed. Ochako kept walking, looking around at the different types of wood. She wanted to also paint the walls, but that would come a different day. Actually, it would be a lot easier to do it before she put anything in there, so she wouldn't have to take it back out. Although, with a quirk like hers, she didn't have to worry much about moving furniture around. Toga walked beside her, not saying anything, which was almost out of character for her. She was normally so animated and bright. But as she walked alongside Ochako, she seemed confused and maybe a little hurt. You all right? Ochako asked, gently grabbing her by the hand. You're quiet. I was thinking, Toga said, glancing down at their interlaced hands. Her phone began to ring, and she pulled her hand free from Ochako's to grab it. Hey! Yeah, we're at the mall. I'm fine. Yeah, she's right here. Who'd you talking to? Ochako asked, gesturing to the phone. Guess. It's 1 in 5. 4, since it wasn't you. Toga smiled a little. Twice? Ochako guessed, and Toga shook her head. He says, wrong, loser. Oh, hi, Dobby. Damn. Karagiri told me to check on you, and I did. My job is done. Bye. He hung up, and Toga slid her phone back into her pocket. Oh, look at this one. There was an elaborately carved, light-colored dresser with skinny knobs and polished surface, so clean you could probably see your reflection. Looks cool. Do you want to go back? Ochako asked, furrowing her brows in concern. No, why? Toga replied, looking back at the hero. You just seem upset. Or maybe not sad, just not happy either. I'm happy, just thinking. Toga rearranged her earlier answer. What are you thinking about? Ochako stepped over to a miniature cherry wood dresser. It didn't have any carvings or markings, and it was just small with only 2 drawers in total. She liked it. It came up to her waist when she stood. suggesting it was supposed to be a nightstand that just got misplaced. Can't tell you right now, Toga replied. Hey, I think this one matches the one like a set. Ochako turned around to see what she meant. The larger compartment of the nightstand she had been looking at sat there in the same cherry wood color and plain design. They were both quite nice, made carefully and cleanly. No ridged edges or torn spots in the wood. I like these. Now I just need a frame, Ochako said as she looked around for the sign labeled bed frames and headboards. Are we coming to get these? Toga asked as Ochako headed towards the new destination. Yeah, I was going to use my quirk to carry them out. You can help if you want, the hero said as she came to a stop beside the start of the aisle, walking down it. Many boxes displayed pictures of assembled bed frames. One caught her attention. She wanted one to match the rest of the room, which would most definitely be a light pink in color. She loved the shade and felt it made the room more joyous. I'll help carry out the stuff, sure, Toga said, standing further behind Ochako. She found a cherry wood bed frame quickly and decided it was perfect to complete the trio. Are you sure you're right? I've kind of been leading you around and you haven't really decided where we go. I feel bad. Ochako faced Toga and lightly took the blonde's hand in hers. I'm all good, Chako. Stop worrying so much. I'm just a little confused right now, but I'll get over it. I chose to take you here, so I've gotten to decide, Toga said, smiling at the hero. Once we get the stuff in the car, we can go do whatever you want, Ochako declared, using her quirk on the bed frame box and tucking it under her arm. Toga didn't respond, just silently followed Ochako. So, how are you going to pay for this? Toga joked as they neared the exit. Your wallet, she replied playfully. I'd like to see you try. Are you that proud of your hiding spot? No, I just lost it during a mission a while back. I'd be impressed if you found it. Toga giggled, and Ochako eventually joined in. Only having to make 2 trips to the car, the pair had everything they gotten into the trunk and back seat. I told you it would fit, Toga said, shutting the back door. I think you must have done something. The car wasn't this wide earlier. Ochako glared at the rusty yellow vehicle, trying to summon an earlier image to memory. Yeah, I just extended the car. Yeah, I'm telling you, it wasn't this size earlier. Toga nodded, understandingly. Yeah, I did. I knew it. That was a joke. Damn. Ochako faked a sigh, before smiling and looking back at Toga. Come on, let's go back. Sure. Toga smiled back, following Ochako inside. They stopped near a pillar, holding up the escalator from the bottom, just out of the direction of the sunlight coming through the skylight. Why are we back here again? Like I said, whatever you want to do. Ochako gestured to the mall, like it was a sprawling grassland. Oh, we can go somewhere else if you'd rather. Whatever I want to do. Yeah. Toga looked like she was debating something. She went to speak, but stopped herself and looked towards the ground. Nah, it's fine. Oh, come on. I liked hanging out with you. That works fine with me. We can go back now. Really? We can do anything, go anywhere. And you just want to go home? If that's what you want to do, then we can, but you can suggest something, even if I don't like the suggestion. Ochako furrowed her brows, watching Toga. Toga put her hands on the hero's shoulder and nudged her back lightly. Ochako was confused by the action, but went with it, letting herself step backwards. She felt her back hit the pillar that the escalator was supported by, a rather cold and thick pillar, but not hard enough to hurt. You are right, Ochako asked softly, trying to understand her friend's actions. Yeah, it's just... Toga stepped closer, to the point where they could almost be pressed completely together. Hardly an inch of space between them and their faces. If that whatever I wanted to do was kiss you, would you be okay with that? She asked quietly, though the distance made it easy for Ochako to hear. Ochako felt her breath hitch in her throat, She wasn't quite sure what she felt towards Toga, though she knew it was something positive. Maybe. The blonde waited patiently, watching Ochako carefully, not trying to pressure her. The hero swallowed nervously. She wasn't sure what these feelings were, but she really did want to kiss her right there and then. Yeah, she practically whispered. Toga smiled, a strange half-smiled, and stepped back. You confuse me, you know that. Toga sighed. I flirt with you the entire time you're spying, and you seem into it. There were these times I thought you were hitting on me, like calling me adorable when I fell asleep in your dorm. I thought it was all good. Then, as soon as you joined the league, you kind of stopped. Not just stopped hitting on me, but it kind of feels like you started turning me down, even though it seems like you asked twice to ask me if I liked girls. She took a breath, meeting the hero's gaze again. But then, when I asked you to have lunch with me, you picked the most romantic spot possible and smiled when I held your hand. You leaned on me and talked to me, and then we came here. Anytime I try to flirt with you, you walk away and shut me down. Then, like nothing ever happened, you call me cute or hold my hand. You even said you'd kiss me. Is that how you actually feel? Or was that because I seemed upset? What's your goal? Your feelings? 'Cause I can't seem to get anything beside mixed signals. A pause. Sorry, she sighed. I didn't mean to say all that. I'm gonna wait in the car. She reached forward and grabbed the keys from Ochako's pocket before heading out the door. What? Flirting is hard. Also, my heart goes out for Toga. Now, defending, Kingston, class starting right now. So, some of you might say, oh, this Toga outburst comes out of nowhere. I need to remind you guys, I'm an overthinker, so this moment, oh my fucking god, it feels so much like me. It fills me up with hope. And it's not hope, but it's like I see myself in Toga in this situation. But let me tell you about the psychological part of this. Also, Kingston, although you might have not intentionally put all this psychological thought behind it, a lot of times people do this because they're like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This character would react like this if this were to happen. Because they know the character or whatever, but they don't understand the deep psychological root behind it. I understand the deep psychological root behind it, right? Not understanding the deep psychological root behind it does not make you a bad writer or, you know, whatever. Normal writers do not know the deep psychological root on why a character does what they do, right? They just know that a character is going to get hurt by this. Maybe they could come to the conclusion of, oh, it's because of their childhood, right? It's because, you know, their parents weren't as accepting. But they will never get to the deep down root of, psychologically speaking, humans need validation. Therefore, the reason why they're doing this is because of the trauma they got of not getting the validation they needed and wanted from their parents. And now any validation they get, they hold on to it like dear fucking life. Or if the validation that they very little get, as, you know, they are now, gets torn from them or gets broken, it feels absolutely more horrible because they're brought back to a childhood moment on where they wouldn't get validation and they don't want to go back to that moment. So they, you know, desperately do whatever they can to hold on to that validation. See, normal people shouldn't be able to do that whole lineup, right? Right? I can because I love psychology, but moving on, right? So you might think, okay, Toga is an overthinker and that, boom, right? Toga's getting all this mixed signals, and mixed signals would make anybody feel upset, right? And in this instant with Toga, mixed signals are the worst. You might think the worst might be flat out rejection and being told that I don't like you, you're horrible, I hate you. And yeah, sure, that's hard. But what's harder is being led on. And felt like you're being led on, even though Toga's not Toga. Ochako's, I don't think Ochako is, you know, intentionally leading on Toga. No, I don't think so, right? Clearly, Ochako doesn't even know what she feels herself, right? But in sending out these mixed signals, right? At one moment flirting, at another moment not, you know, stuff like that, it can make Toga feel upset, of course. I mean, as someone who desperately craves validation, desperately needs validation. Validation is not something that she wants, it's something that she needs. You know, it's something that she desperately, desperately needs. And for that to be taken from her and given to her and then taken and given to her, that's emotional whiplash right there, right? Emotional whiplash, right? One moment, you know, they're flirting, the next they're not, right? It's emotional whiplash, right? She just wants to be loved. She wants to be appreciated. And she's not getting that. She's getting mixed signals is what she's getting, right? So as someone who already doesn't get enough validation, she's getting this validation and she's feeling nice about it, but then it's taken away from her and then given back and then taken away and then given back and then taken away. Of course she's gonna feel weird and not mixed signals, but weird and upset, because it's like, you keep taking it from me and you keep giving it to me and taking it from me and giving it to me. Can I really rely on you to continue to give me the validation that I crave and want? Are you a reliable source of validation or not? I want your validation. Beggars can't be choosers in this situation with people, right? Beggars can't be choosers. She's hurt because she gets her heart, like for example, let me give you an example. Toga invites her out for lunch. Ochako picks the most romantic place. And Toga's like, okay, this is nice. I'm getting my feelings reciprocated, right? I like this, right? And then add on to the fact of the twice situation, I like this. And then, you know, holding hands, leaning in. And then later down the road in the same very day, gets rejected on the sleeping in the same room thing, gets, you know, kind of ignored in certain areas. It's like, okay, well then what the fuck was that back there? Did I do something wrong? A lot of times when people who grew up without the validation, care, and love that they needed, and support that they needed, they become people pleasers. I don't think Toga has become a people pleaser, but just because you're not a people pleaser does not mean you cannot inhibit some people pleasing tendencies. And, you know, it's like, okay, what did I do wrong? Even if it's not like people pleasing tendencies, like I want to do something right so that you could give me love and validation. And it's more of a, okay, what the fuck did I do wrong? Because I don't understand what I did wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you behaving like this? Right? To then, you know, outrightly be like, hey, can I kiss you? And then the person being like, yeah, you can kiss me. Okay, well then what the fuck was that back there? It's mixed signals. It's emotional whiplash. And it's hard because it makes you think, I can't trust the person for validation. Maybe they don't outright think it. Maybe it's not a conscious thought, but it's a subconscious thought. I can't trust this person to validate me, to love me. This person is not a reliable source of validation. But when you don't have that many sources of validation, beggars can't be choosers. And so you deal with it. And so you go along. Because in the end, beggars can't be choosers. And it's sad. It's sad. It really is. So before somebody says like, oh, this is coming straight out of nowhere, it's not coming out of nowhere. As she said, she's been getting mixed signals. She doesn't like, what is going on? Right? It's not coming out of nowhere. So I have my finger gun right here. Y'all better not be saying it's coming out of nowhere and that this angst is coming out of nowhere. Right? It's coming from somewhere. All right? All right? I already told you that's where it's coming from, right? Also, it's not a slow burn without a little bit of angst, all right? All right? Mutual pining. That feeling of, oh, they don't like me. It's not slow burn without that. Let's be honest. It's not slow burn without the will they, won't they era. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.